Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Mezzanine, the Broadway podcast for the Broadway fans. I am your host, Lindsay Stone. Here we talk about all things Broadway news, which we have so much to cover today. We also talk about Broadway grosses, and let's be honest, all of the tea and gossip that happens week to week in the Broadway stratosphere. If you are watching this episode on YouTube or Spotify even, you may have noticed things look a little bit different around here. Yeah, this is my new apartment. I moved last weekend, Tony's weekend, and I need to tell y'all the chaos that ensued. And no, this is not my new podcast setup. This is very just for now. Literally, it'll probably be different every single week for the next few months, honestly, while I get everything sorted. Hopefully that's not the case, but your girl does not have time to get her podcast set up the way she wants it at this moment in time. But nevertheless, let me tell you what happened on my crazy Tony weekend before we even get close to talking about the Tony Awards, because honey, it was crazy. So as all of my Broadway besties on FTM, who I so lovingly call Broadway besties, as many of you know, last year was the greatest year ever, and I got to attend the Tony Awards. That was not the case this year. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen for me. I tried. Believe me, I tried. And I did not get to go, which is fine. So, it's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I am fine. I had a lovely night with my friends, but I was supposed to have a lovely Tony party at my new apartment. Mind you, I was moving the day before. So that was really dumb of me to think that I could accomplish that and have people over for a party the day after moving. That was crazy. So ultimately, I woke up on Tony morning. All my friends were so excited. And we didn't have internet. And we were supposed to have internet, and it just wasn't working. And we were running around trying to figure out, where's the cord? Where's the fiber? Why isn't it working? And there was nothing we could do. We needed an agent to come out and help us, but it was Sunday, so nobody was working. So we were out of luck. But luckily, one of my dear friends came to the rescue, and she was like, we will have the Tonys at my apartment. So everything went on as somewhat originally planned. We made a beautiful spread of Tony musical themed snacks and drinks and food and everything. We had, which I came up with, Elmer McCrudite. I was very proud of that. We had Gypsy Rosé. We had Alexander ham and cheese sandwiches. We had Velma Van Horn's potion from Death Becomes Her. We had Daisy June's curls. They were these little curly chips, and we really went all out, and it was so much fun. And I'm so happy that we had like an excellent Tony viewing experience. So even though it wasn't as expected or planned, or I didn't get to go this year, at least it was still so fabulous. And there is something especially fun about getting to like freak out and scream and jump up and down and go crazy when our favorite shows win the Tonys. It is so wild because last week I was like talking to you guys and I released an episode and I was like, I know this episode comes out after the Tonys and like everybody who's listening to this knows exactly what's happened. And I just like couldn't fathom that. I couldn't imagine living in a post-Tonys world like we are currently living in. And it feels so good. So what we're going to do in this episode, I want us to, of course, talk about the winners, talk about the snubs. I just rewatched every single performance and big acceptance speech. So I'm excited to recap those with you guys. I also want to talk about some best dressed. And as always, when you have the Tony Awards, there's quite a bit of news and debate and conflict and conversation and gossip that happens after. So that is what we're going to talk about in this week's episode. But first, of course, we have to talk about the Broadway grosses. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is for the week ending on June 8th. So this is prior to the Tony Awards. It will be so interesting next week to sit down and chat with you guys about the Broadway grosses and see how the Tony Awards changed what musicals and plays we're making on Broadway Did they decrease some and increase others? I cannot wait. But our number one for the week right before the Tonys, which is a crazy week for Broadway. Like everybody is trying to see the shows before they win all the Tonys and become way too expensive. So number one, of course, is Good Night and Good Luck. I also was shocked to learn that already closed. I was unaware that was such a limited run. I knew it was limited, but dang, that limited is crazy. Number two, we have Othello. 3 is Wicked. That's been high for them. They've been a little bit lower. Glengarry and Glen Ross is 4. The Lion King is 5. Hamilton is 6. We're seeing all of the touristy shows back on top. That makes sense. So many school groups on Broadway. So many tourists visiting. These are the shows that they want to see. The Picture of Dorian Gray is 7. Death Becomes Her is 8. That's amazing for them. They're at 99% capacity. So clearly out of the new musicals, they are just excelling so much further above the pack. Aladdin is 9, and Sunset Boulevard, our big revival winner, is 10. Just beneath that top 10 mark, we have Buena Vista Social Club and Just in Time. Wow, Just in Time has 103% capacity. My sister really, really wanted to see that while she was in New York, but I was like, apparently their Rush is only standing room at this point, and it's really hard to get. So we did not do that. The Outsiders is doing amazingly, 101% capacity, like at number 13. Oh, Mary's doing fabulous. Maybe Happy Ending is so high, you guys, 102% capacity. They are above MJ, which, by the way, MJ used to be one of the top 10 musicals. They're above Gatsby. They're above Gypsy. Why? Oh my God, I have chills. I seriously didn't think I'd see the day where maybe Happy Ending was so far above the pack. That makes me so happy. And this was before the Tonys, but it's because everybody knew that it was going to win everything. That is such a gorgeous indication. Okay. I did see, which I want to talk about this past week, I saw my classic The Outsiders for the first time since January, by the way. And I saw Dead Outlaw again. And so I wanted to see what their grosses were, because when I went and saw Dead Outlaw, it was pretty full, but it was the Tuesday right after the Tonys. Dead Outlaw last week had 80% capacity. Let me get on my soapbox real quick about Dead Outlaw. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw this show, I did not love it. I was seriously feeling so protective of Maybe Happy Ending that I did not want to like any other Broadway show that was going to be in this season. And whenever I saw it, I felt like the hype was just so huge that when I viewed the show, it's not this major spectacle, I was disappointed. Let me tell you the way that has completely changed and evolved for me. I since have seen the show 2 more times, and the second time I saw it, I was sitting in my seat, I was grinning from ear to ear, and I was like, yeah, I love this show. I don't know what I was thinking the first time. I think I was just being like extremely judgmental of it. Like I did not want to like it, and so I didn't. And then I saw it on Tuesday, like I said, and I love this cast so much. I love the music. I love the individuality of each song in this musical. It just goes to show how strong those songwriters are to put together a song that sounds like Frank Sinatra opposite a song that's like a slap your knee folk song like Hank Williams would sing. It's really incredible, the versatility in this show. And it really just is so entertaining as an audience member because the themes are constantly changing and it just keeps you on the edge of your seat. And there are so many moments, specifically when Andrew Durand is singing in the first part. My new favorite song is Nobody Knows Your Name. They haven't released it yet. I need the full album, but it's this moment where the dead outlaw doesn't have anywhere to go and he doesn't feel like he has a home, and he is just like in this world of flux right now. And he's singing on top of like the moving cabin set piece that they have. And it's just directed so beautifully and I love it. So all I'm trying to say, like, I feel like I rarely am like, guys, see this show. I feel like I flippantly say like, oh, you need to go support this show because, you know, they're not doing so hot. But this, I'm like so serious right now. Everybody needs to see Dead Outlaw, not even once, but twice, because the fact that I think it just took me 2 tries to get it. And now that I got it, I'm so obsessed. Like, I could see this show once a week. I think it is so amazing, and it goes by so quickly. I'm sick of these 2.5-hour musicals. I'm not. I love them. But there is something so relieving about getting out of a show early and getting home at a reasonable time and being able to not feel like you're dead the next day. Dead Outlaw, I love it so much. And I know it did not win the Tonys. Did it even win a single one? I'll have to see in our Tony recap we're about to do, because I don't remember if it did. But that hurts me. I don't like to see that they have an 80% capacity. I really hope that it goes up. So that is our Broadway grosses and a little tidbit of our Dead Outlaw recap. Before we get into the Broadway news, should I just tell y'all real quick about The Outsiders? Because I haven't seen it in so long, and I know so many of my Broadway besties are Outsider girlies. So let's do it. I haven't gone this long without seeing this show, TBH. And honestly, it's just because their rush got so insane, and I've been seeing other shows, and it's been fabulous. But Bryn has left the country for the summer. She's doing her summer camp in Canada, and to commemorate her last night, we had to see The Outsiders. It was only right. And I love this show. It was my first time getting to see Alex Joseph Grayson in the role of Dallas Winston, and he was really fabulous. I am not going to compare him to Josh Boone, because truly, I don't think anybody on earth could compare to Josh Boone. I'm not going to get into it. He just was like the pinnacle of the show for me. But Alex Joseph Grayson is making Dallas his own. He is not doing a copycat of what Josh did. Like his enunciation and the songs, the way he's singing it, the runs that he does, the way that he's the fight between Daryl and Dallas right before throwing in the towel was so different, and it really hit me. Alex is an amazing actor. He's extremely authentic, and the way he's able to be so emotive through his words and through like his facial expressions and his mannerisms was really amazing. I loved him. I thought he was amazing. I know I keep saying amazing. I like can't think of another descriptor word. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm overwhelmed because I'm just like not in my podcasting element. I'm literally like in my living room right now. I used to have like a little podcast nook, and now it's just like crazy and everything is a mess and I need to unpack. Anyways, y'all don't want to hear about that. But yeah, Outsiders is just as good as it has always been. Apparently there's rumors that some people are leaving very soon. I don't know anything about that. I cannot give you the 411. But as always, go see the show. Unfortunately, I did not get to see Jason Schmidt as Soda Pop, which made me sad. I did get to see John P. Collins as Soda Pop, and he was very cute, and his voice is beautiful. And if you remember back to my episode I did with Veronica on The Unlearning, and I told her about how he was my Broadway boyfriend, but I never even saw him perform. It was like pretty funny that now whenever I went, I actually got to see him perform, because I don't think he goes on a lot, but y'all can correct me in the comments. I don't know. But yeah, it was so good. I'm trying to think if there's like anything else that happened that was like different than what I've said 14 times on this podcast. No, I feel like it was like classic Outsiders night. I'll tell the Broadway besties more on the Patreon. There's some things I feel like I need to save it for you guys. If you want to join the Patreon, it's patreon.com/fromthemezzanine. Okay, so that is my Outsiders and Dead Outlaw recap. Let's get into our Broadway news Tony coverage. First things first with our Tony recap, let's just cover what shows brought home the most Tony. So maybe Happy Ending swept. I'm so happy to be saying that right now. Maybe Happy Ending swept the Tony Awards, taking home 6 Tonys. Following them is Buena Vista Social Club, taking home 4. And then we have Stranger Things, which I was not expecting, taking home 3. Sunset Boulevard matched. I know. We'll get to it. I'm not happy. Sunset Boulevard matched Stranger Things and took home 3 as well. Oh, Mary took home 2 Tony Awards. Picture of Dorian Gray took home 2. Purpose took home 2. And Death Becomes Her, Eureka Day, Operation Mincemeat, and Yellowface all took home 1 Tony Award. Now let's talk about who won what. So, best sound design of a play, that went to Stranger Things. I don't have any skin in the game for any of these other plays. Best book of a musical. This was the first indication that we had that maybe Happy Ending was going to win best musical. I was like, whoever wins this, score, orchestrations, and direction, they will be the ones to take home best musical. So, best book went to Maybe Happy Ending. I am very happy that that was the case. I think that is what I predicted, but I think they're so worthy of best book. It's so original. I could have seen another show sliding into this category and winning. I could have seen Dead Outlaw winning. I also could have seen Death Becomes Her, but of course it had to go to Maybe Happy Ending, and I'm so glad that it did. Okay, best sound design of a musical. This one went to Buena Vista Social Club. Of course, I think it could have gone to any of the others in this category. Sunset, Just in Time, Maybe Happy Ending, not really Floyd Collins. But I feel like we had this running joke at our Tony party because every single category, they would like announce the winner and we'd be like, that's who I predicted. And it never was. But I do think that I actually did predict this one just because they have like the live band on stage. I think I thought it was going to go to Buena Vista. Best orchestrations also went to Buena Vista. Best choreo went to Buena Vista. Now that is not surprising, especially after their performance. Wow. But I think so many people were hoping that this went to Jerry Mitchell with Boop. It did win the Drama Desk. And I mean, you can't really compare it because Buena Vista is like the choreography is at the forefront of the musical. But Boop's choreography is amazing, but I wouldn't say it's the thing you walk away with from Boop. Like, you don't walk away being like, oh, wow, that choreo. You're mainly like, Jasmine Amy Rogers, what a queen. So I feel like that one was to be expected. Lighting design of a play went to Stranger Things for Shadow. I could just tell from like the clips that they would show when they were going through the nominees. I was like, yeah, that's definitely going to Stranger Things. Best lighting design went to Sunset Boulevard. I don't remember if that's what I predicted. I definitely probably predicted Baby Happy Ending because I think that they should have won, but it is pretty obvious that Sunset won, even though it's literally, sorry, you guys, you know I'm going to be bitter. Like, Sunset is literally just like strobe lights. I know it's more than that. Like, the sound design is probably really, really difficult and technical, and I wouldn't even understand it. But Maybe Happy Ending, like the entire set, the lighting of it is what brings the world to life. So I think that should have won. I think that is a snub for Maybe Happy Ending. It should have gone to them. Best scenic design of a play also went to Stranger Things. I don't think anybody was expecting Stranger Things to get this many Tonys, but it makes sense because they had so much money invested in it. And if you've seen photos of that set, it's crazy. Best scenic design of a musical went to Maybe Happy Ending. I was not expecting that, especially after they didn't win lighting design and sound design, but they definitely deserved scenic design. Their competitors were Death Becomes Her, Buena Vista, Swept Away, and Just in Time. I really think the only one out of this it could have gone to is Death Becomes Her, so thank God it went to Maybe Happy Ending. Best costume design of a play went to Picture of Dorian Gray, which, like, I don't really have any skin in the game for that. But best costume design of a musical obviously had to go to Paul Tazewell. I think we were all like, okay, maybe Boop, maybe Paul, maybe Boop, but hopefully Paul. And we were all really happy to see that it went to him. He was, I just love him so much. And the costumes in Death Becomes Her, like I said, for like Buena Vista, you walk away and you're like, oh, the choreo. You walk away from Death Becomes Her and you're like, oh, those costumes. That one feeling that you get whenever you leave a Broadway show, the one thing that you're just like, oh, wow, that filled my cup. Like, that one thing, it just did so much for me. They could base the Tony winners off of that feeling, which is why I love doing those interviews I do in the street after Broadway shows. When I ask, like, if it could win any Tony Award, what would it be? Because some of these shows, it's just so obvious that Death Becomes Her should win costume design. And it did. Best original score. I was not expecting this. It went to Maybe Happy Ending. That made me so happy. I definitely thought it could have gone to Dead Outlaw because their score is so unique, especially with what I said earlier about how every single song sounds so different. But I am really happy that it went to Maybe Happy Ending. You'll know I just like needed a sweep. Like I needed air to breathe. I was like, if it does not sweep, like I didn't even want it to win. Like, okay, I want Darren to win and then I'll be happy. No, I wanted a sweep. I wanted it all. And I'm glad Buena Vista won the 4 Tonys that they did, but 6 Tonys, you won the majority. I declare a sweep. Okay, so yeah, thank God original score went to Maybe Happy Ending. Best performance by an actress in a leading role in a play went to Sarah Snook. There was nobody else we really thought that this was going to go to. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a play went to Francis Ju from Yellowface. I don't have any skin in the game here. The next category. This one was hard for me. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a musical. We had Brooks Ashmanskas, Jeb Brown from Dead Outlaw, Danny Bernstein from Gypsy, who is my pick, Jack Malone from Operation Mincemeat, and Taylor Trench from Floyd Collins. It did end up going to Jack Malone, who is so lovely, but I desperately thought Danny Bernstein deserved this win. I feel like I need a supercut of all of Jack Malone's moments in Operation Mincemeat because I really liked a lot of the cast. Like Jack wasn't the one outstander for me personally, but he was the only one who was nominated, which I found interesting. But he did win the Olivier Award. And I gotta be honest, I am surprised that he won the Tony Award. I feel like everybody knew it was going to happen. But even so, I really loved Brooks Ashmanskas in Smash and Jeb Brown in Dead Outlaw. Like everybody else in this category felt a little bit more deserving to me. So best performance by an actor in a featured role in a play. It, of course, went to Cara Young. I don't think any of us were expecting anything else. Best performance by an actress in a featured role in a musical. Now, the winner was predicted, not by me, but from most everybody else. Natalie Venetia Belkin from Buena Vista Social Club won. And in that category, we also had Julia Niddle from Dead Outlaw, who was my pick, Gracie Lawrence from Just in Time, Justina Mikado from Real Women Have Curves, and Joy Woods from Gypsy. I think most people were hoping for Joy Woods, who, by the way, I didn't see her one time. Like, I never saw the camera pan to her in the audience of the Tonys, which is so weird. But I am happy for Natalie Venetia Belkin because I do feel like after watching Buena Vista's performance, I can see why she won. And many people are saying she is such an outstanding performer in that show. So I am sure that it is deserved. I would have liked Julia Niddle to win, but it's fine. I'm not butthurt about that one, and I don't feel like it was a snub by any means. Best play. This was a shock to me because I did not think that Purpose was going to win, but they took it home. In this category, we have English Hills of California, John Proctor is the villain, Oh Mary, and Purpose. Now, this is a good time to talk about the fact that John Proctor as the Villain was the highest Tony nominated play of the season. However, they did not win a single Tony Award. That is extremely odd and suspicious to me because I was giving so much credit to the Tony Awards committee because I was like, maybe they aren't all these old people who have no passion and feeling and understanding of these young, more trendy shows on Broadway. And now the fact that they didn't give them a single award makes me want to go back on my stance with that because I was giving them credit. And I'm like, I don't think you're worthy of that credit because not saying Purpose wasn't worthy of winning this. I just feel like it's odd that one play would get the most Tony noms, but not a single award. Same can be said for Oh Mary. However, we're about to get to it, but they did take home wins. So I am really happy for Purpose. I think most people were just debating between John Proctor and Oh Mary, though, and most people assumed it was going to go to Oh Mary. I did, but I am really happy for Purpose, and I desperately need to see that play still. Best revival of a play went to Eureka Day. Best direction of a play. Now, this one was kind of a surprise. It went to Sam Pinkleton for Oh Mary. But in this category, we had Nud Adams from English, Sam Mendes from Hills of California, Danya Taymor from John Proctor as the Villain, and Kip Williams from Picture of Dorian Gray. Kip Williams and Danya Taymor, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're the ones that won the Drama Desk. So I think we were all pretty surprised that Sam Pinkleton won for Oh Mary. Not to say that he wasn't worthy of winning, though. I don't even know how to judge direction of a play. But I will say I think that was a surprise. Best direction of a musical went to Michael Arden for Maybe Happy Ending, which of course it had to go to him. They won everything else. So, of course, the director wins. Best performance by an actor in a leading role in a play. Okay, yay, yay. This went to Cola Scola. I don't know if it could have gone to anybody else. I'm sure that it could have. We have 2 people from Purpose in this category. We have Louis McCartney from Stranger Things. I feel like Cola Scola had some stiff competition, but we all knew it had to go to them. And their acceptance speech was so funny. I loved whenever they said, "Mom, I'll call you when I have time." And by the way, we'll talk about the outfits when I get to the best dressed portion. So beautiful, so stunning. Can't say enough good things. So worthy of winning. My FTM Person of the Year, Cola Scola, of course, had to win leading actor in a play. Best revival of a musical. Okay, this is where things started to get really rocky for me. Up until this point, I was on cloud 9. I was like, everything I want to win is winning. I was like, oh my God, this Gypsy Rosé is so good. I'm so happy. Let's keep the celebration going. And then Sunset Boulevard won Best Revival of a Musical. And I was like, guys, it's okay. Because everybody is saying one will win Best Revival and the other will win Best Leading Actress. So it's all okay. And it was so reassuring. I even reassured myself. I was like, we've got this. It's okay. Sunset can win Best Revival. I guess that's fair. That makes sense. That's what everybody's been saying, that it's so original and so different from the original source material that is just like so fabulous, even though I disagree. But that's fine because I knew in my heart of hearts, this meant a sure thing, Audra would win leading actress. We will get to it. So yes, that was my first major disappointment of the night, was Sunset Boulevard winning for Best Revival. Best performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical. Okay, we went from 0 to 100 real quick because Darren Criss. Oh, I'm so happy that Darren Criss won for Maybe Happy Ending. I was anxious about this category. I hoped if it didn't go to Darren, it was going to go to Andrew Durand, but I had heard so much talk about it's going to go to Johnny Groff for 2 times in a year because how fun and cool and marketable is that? I was like, no, it just simply can't. And Darren Criss's acceptance speech was so sweet. He gave props to Helen J. Shen and said, this is where you're meant to be. Oh, and he said, I'm going to go celebrate with my favorite people in the world to party with, theater kids. And he said the sweetest message to his wife and thanked her for everything that she's done and sacrificed so he can be in this show 8 times a week. It was such an eloquent acceptance speech. I feel like it was honestly like the best of the night in terms of he said everything he wanted to say. It was very, very sweet. And I'm so beyond glad that he won. And you know what I was saying after the fact? I was like, I would love to see a scorecard of who was like first, second, and third. How close of a race were these categories? I need to know badly. Okay, we're almost to the end. Second to last. This is where the night really took a turn. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have drank so much Gypsy Rosé, because best performance by a leading actress in a musical went to Nicole Scherzinger right after Audra McDonald put on the performance of a lifetime as Mama Rose and Gypsy singing Rose's Turn. It went to Nicole Scherzinger. I was in denial. I was actually like going through the stages of grief after this. I was so mad. I took a video of us because I was like, oh, this is going to be so cute. Audra's going to win. Let's record our reaction. It's not a good video. You don't want to see the video. I was in denial. I could not believe it. And I really genuinely, I know so many of my listeners hate the fact that I don't like the show and don't understand it. and don't appreciate it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish that I was on y'all's team. I wish that I liked it. I wish that I got it, but I just don't. I think what Audra McDonald does as Mama Rose is the best, most heartbreaking and real thing I have seen on a stage. And that was so on display in her performance. And that's not to say I think Nicole is bad. I think Nicole's performance is amazing. Tom Francis' performance is amazing. But I could not and still cannot fathom the fact that Nicole won, especially considering all of the talk in the press these past few weeks that I really feel damaged Nicole's reputation. First, it started out, now this wasn't within the last few weeks, but this definitely did numbers on her Q score, was the where can I get this hat? And then we almost instantly forgave her for that, which is fine. I think it was taken out of context. And then with Patti LuPone's article that she released, just bagging on Audra McDonald. And of course, that's not Nicole's fault that happened, but I would have thought the way people were responding to Audra McDonald winning the Drama Desk, it because of what was happening in the community at that time, it made it so much more of a moment. And I'm surprised that the Tonys didn't want that moment. And I'm sick. I'm honestly sick. It should have gone to Audra McDonald. There's no way. I just don't understand. I just really don't understand. And that's the hardest thing for me, because to go from one performance moving you so deeply to another that didn't even touch your soul, it's really hard to believe that that majority of people voted for this other performance. But there's nothing that we can do about it. I thought Nicole's acceptance speech was very good. I thought she hit all of the major points. Amazing how she said, this is a win for this Hawaiian, Ukrainian, Filipino girl. And I thought her acceptance speech was wonderful. And I know she's so happy. And I know that she is a real theater kid at heart. And I know that she has the good intentions, and this award meant so much to her. And I love that for her. I really do. But at the same time, I just don't think it was deserved, which makes it so hard for me, especially when this has been the highest contested category of the Tonys this year. We have been talking about this category for over a year. Whenever Audra was announced to be in Gypsy, we were like, oh my gosh, we're going to have a Dina, we're going to have a, and we were all just freaking out. This is going to be the craziest category. And all of that for nothing because it went to Nicole. I was really disappointed, but the disappointment quickly washed away when Maybe Happy Ending took home the big one and won Best Musical. That means the world to me. The world. I was so happy. And that definitely restored my faith in the Tony Awards. But yeah, it was amazing. Let's talk about Cynthia Erivo hosting. I thought she was a great host. I loved her opening number and her closing number, even more actually. There were some interesting parts. First of all, I loved all of her fashion the entire night. I don't know why she changed so much. We saw her for 1 minute at a time, every 30 minutes. We never saw her at all, which was so fine. But I did think that was funny. And every time she popped back up, she was in a completely different fit. What was I saying? I was going somewhere with that. Oh, the one thing that I thought was so awkward though, is in her opening monologue, she made a little joke saying, if you talk too long, this is what we'll play. And it was now the time has come, you face your final curtain. And they actually used it. We were all oh my gosh, that's so awkward because this person is just trying to have their moment on the world stage and you're getting sung off by Cynthia Erivo. I was it kind of makes you not like Cynthia Erivo because she is singing this nice person off who's trying to have their moment, and she's just but now the time has come. And that person's okay, I love my family and God, okay, bye. It was awkward. That part was really awkward. Another criticism that I have that is the biggest one is I feel No, I know we weren't the only ones, but comment down below if you were having major audio issues. We could barely hear people, especially Operation Mincemeat when they were singing so fast and in a different accent. We were like, okay, we have like for an entire 3 minutes, we will not know what's going on that TV because the audio was so bad. Like the orchestra was so loud and the people's mics were so low. We just could not hear it. It was pretty bad. What other criticisms do I have of the Tony Awards? Not inviting me. I hope you'll invite me next year. I'm sad. Anyways, let me push my emotions aside and let's talk about the performances. When I was watching the Tonys, I feel like I was disappointed by a lot of performances, but then I just rewatched them and I was like, you know what? I guess it's not that bad. But some of my favorite shows, I was really disappointed in their performances, specifically maybe Happy Endings. I did not like that they basically rewrote an entire scene to work for the Tonys. I did not like that they did the firefly sequence, which is so magical when done on their set, when they have all of the foliage and the purple lights and they're spinning. And whenever they recreated it for the Tony Awards, it did not even remotely have that same magical effect because it was like the first thing we saw. Like they go up onto the stage and then up rises the string quartet. It's not a quartet, but you know what I mean. And I just felt like it didn't have the context. It lacked the context of a viewer knowing what was happening and, oh, wow, this is supposed to be magical. It just like didn't have that same feeling because they didn't have their entire set. So I don't think that they should have done the firefly sequence. They kissed at the end of the song, which does not happen in the musical. I thought that was fine for the Tony Awards because it is intriguing and it might bring people in. But I really think that they should have sang like, when you're in love, you are the loneliest, even though that's one of the biggest, like most revealing numbers. They still kissed in their Tony performance, so I don't think it would have been like given more of the plot away. But they just weren't on display. I didn't like that they did the firefly sequence at all because it just didn't come across through the TV like it does when you're in the audience of that theater. Like, not even close. Even more, I feel like it could have been really cool if they did my favorite song, which is But First, oh, but first you'll go on dates. Cher's favorite looks and bicker. You'll just have to do it quicker than most. What's that song called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I think that they had much better options that they should have done. And I don't think that their performance did what they were hoping. I'm so sad. Like, I'm so sad because I was literally like anticipating it so much. And I was like building it up to my friends. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all just wait. And then I was like, oh, was kind of disappointing. Yeah. The best performance without a doubt was Audra McDonald singing Rose's Turn. It was amazing. And I've been seeing article on article about the fact that that is going to go down in history as one of the best Tony Award performances to ever be done, and it will. She was so amazing. And I saw this TikTok after the fact of like Tony voters watching Audra's performance and like having cold sweats and realizing they made the wrong choice. And I'm like, precisely. So she was fabulous. I loved what Death Becomes Her did with the For the Gays. I think that was the best song choice for them. However, I would have loved if they could have done something with Jennifer Simard. Where were the medleys? Why did we not have more medleys? That's what I was honestly really frustrated about. It's like, why are we singing one song? We need the medleys. Last year, we had so many great medleys. Hell's Kitchen did like a 3-song medley. The Outsiders did they did like 17 songs and the Rumble. And the medleys make it so interesting, and they usually get all of the swings and ensembles and the core cast on the stage at one time to just make it look larger than life. That did not happen this year. With One Look, Nicole Scherzinger, yes, her performance was great. Why didn't we do the Act 2 opener of them walking around Radio City? There was nothing done for that. Like, these big moments of this past season, I feel like were just overlooked. And they could have done so much with all of like the trending TikTok sounds that have happened this year. And I feel like they didn't do what the fans were wanting. I really do. Like, I can't speak too highly of the overall production of the Tony Awards. Like, I did not feel like it was great. The performances were lacking. We needed more medleys. There wasn't much Cynthia Erivo. There just wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't really engaging for the audience, I feel. But some performances were good, which of course we'll talk about. Yes, For the Gays was fine. Wish they did something with Jennifer Samard. I thought Pirates of Penzance's performance was cute, especially the first part. But when they all came out and did like the washboard scene, I felt like that wasn't exactly doing what they were hoping it would. Plus the audio was just so bad. It kind of was a little comedic without, like, we were laughing at them, not with them. Like, I don't think this is achieving what they set out to accomplish with this performance. Like, it just seemed like really scaled back and unimpressive, unfortunately. But I do still want to see that show. Buena Vista Social Club gave an amazing performance. I loved what they did. It definitely made me want to go in and see the show, and I felt like it was really great for marketing. I think people will see that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can get behind this, with the beautiful choreography, the amazing band that's on stage, the beautiful costumes. It really got all of our attention. Yeah, pretty disappointed in what Sunset Boulevard did. Why didn't we do the Act 2? Maybe the Tony Awards at Radio City didn't have like the capacity to go all out in that fashion, but it would have been worth the investment because we were all expecting it. Like, the Olivier Awards did an amazing Sunset Boulevard performance. We should be able to do that too. I thought Just in Time's performance was really cute. I thought it was an interesting pick, Mac the Knife. It is a very popular song, but Bobby Darin does have more popular songs, Somewhere Beyond the Sea and Splish Splash, I Was Taking a Bath. This is definitely an example of when they should have done a medley of all of Bobby Darin's biggest songs. That way people like me aren't going to be like, oh wait, maybe I do kind of know Bobby Darin. That song's a little bit familiar. But of course I loved the way Jonathan Groff performed it. And yeah, it did make me really, really, really want to go and see the show. Dead Outlaw, their performance, I have a hard time because I love that song, Yo Mama's Dead, Your Daddy's Dead, You're Always Dead, and So Are You, which they sang. And I think that was good that they sang. And they also did do a little bit of a mashup with the ballad that opens up the musical. But that ballad, I feel like that was a waste of time. It was kind of boring. It didn't kick off the performance with like high energy. And the ballad is literally just like, when the stars are bright like these stars. Like, it's very low energy. It's very pretty. I love that song. But I don't think it's what they should have picked for the Tony Awards. They should have done I Killed a Man in Maine. That would have been so epic and amazing. They could have done definitely a mashup of sorts. They could have done, especially, yeah, they should have definitely done a mashup because they have so many different characters in this show. It would have been awesome to see like the Up to the Stars and then the Now I'm an Entrepreneur. Like, just seeing 30 seconds of each song. We saw Hamilton do it. They should have done that for every single performance. I thought Floyd Collins' performance was amazing, actually. I liked that they did the opening song paired with Jeremy Jordan's amazing song when he's climbing through the cave. I thought that was great. If I had not already seen the show, I think I would have been really interested. And Jeremy's vocals were insane. He sounded so good scooting around that stage, but he made it look really good and not silly. And I think that that's mainly thanks to like the camera guy probably. But I thought Floyd Collins, their performance was one of the best of the night. Oh yeah, Real Women Have Curves. Their performance was really good. They sang Jugglin', 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 Jugglin'. But they also intermixed it with a few of their other songs and some scenes. That was a really well thought out performance. Operation Mincemeat, I really just don't have anything to say. I think they should have had Jack Malone just sing his song because it is like the highest point of the musical. And unfortunately they did do a medley, but I don't think that worked to their favor because they like brought in that one song that sounds just like a Hamilton song, but 10 times speed and with a British accent. Couldn't understand a word. I'm sorry. It's true. I don't think that their performance did good things for them. And that leaves us to just talk about the Hamilton performance, which was absolutely the highlight of the night. The performance will be watched by me for literally decades and decades to come. It was so good. They did exactly what I was expecting because everybody was so curious and we were like, what are they going to sing? Are they going to sing the opening number? I was like, well, they definitely are going to feature everybody. So I think if they sing one song, it will be the opening number. But I'm so glad that they sang each character's highest point of the musical. Like we got to hear from Oak Smash singing Hercules Mulligan, I take the measurements information and then I smuggle it. And we got to hear like all of the Schuyler sisters sing their part. We got to hear Wait For It from Leslie Odom Jr. We got to hear from Daveed Diggs. We got to hear from Jonathan Groff. It was amazing. So powerful. We were screaming. Like, I can't even explain. The moment it started, every time they would change to the next song, we were like, ah, like absolutely losing our shit because it was so perfect. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe that we were getting all of these major moments. We even got Ariana DeBose doing her bullet. Like, it was perfect. It couldn't have been better. It seriously was incredible. They put all of their effort into this one performance and it clearly showed. But it was great. It was really amazing. And it was a perfect way to commemorate 10 years of Hamilton, especially the fact that the entire OBC came together. Even Anthony Ramos, which we were all very curious about. He didn't appear to be in like any of the rehearsals, but he was there Tony night, which was a shock, was a surprise, because we all were like, okay, he's clearly the only one not there. That's suspicious. But I guess all in all, it wasn't, because he did show up and he was like, I wonder if he showed up because of all of the hate he was getting. Yeah, people take notice. Don't you doubt. Okay, let's talk about the fashion, because I feel like it was a very good night for fashion. People showed up. My best dressed of the night was Cola Scola, who was in a recreation of one of Bernadette Peters' Tony looks. And they looked so beautiful. And Bernadette Peters actually released a response and said something really sweet. Like, yes, I saw Cole's dress. They look so beautiful. Although whenever I wore it, I styled my chest hair differently or something, which was so funny. But I do have quite a few other people that were my best dressed. I loved Helen J. Shen's dress. I loved the color. I loved the sort of like, I'm not a fashion person. Why am I doing this? Anyways, the like shawl thing that just like went over the front of the dress. It was so beautiful. And she looked extremely elegant. I really loved Kara Young's look. Very artsy and poised and just very her. It was like a black tux with this train clipped to it that she took off as she ran up to the stage in a very cool way. I really loved Finna Straza's dress, who was nominated for her role in John Proctor's The Villain. It's like this really pretty cream ball, like drop waist ball gown. She just looks so beautiful. I was really stunned by her outfit. Tom Francis, of course, looked very handsome. Men's fashion is so boring. Who else just looked magnificent? Of course, Cynthia Erivo looked beautiful all night. I really like Jack Malone's outfit. It is embroidered with a lot of accents that are specific to his character in Operation Mincemeat. Like there's a greyhound and a little heart that says Bill and a little letter and all of these roses because of the rose garden mentioned in his song. So I thought that was really creative. I liked Darren Chris's outfit a lot. The fashion was just really great. I feel like I didn't see anybody except a few that I was like, oh my God, what are you wearing? But for the most part, I thought everybody looked beautiful, really eleganza and nice. I really liked Nicole Scherzinger's dress. I love the sequins. She wore like a red fitted sequin dress and it's just very, very beautiful. But yes, everybody looked absolutely dashing. Oh, and since we were talking about all of the performances, I thought it would be interesting to look at what performances have been most viewed. Of course, we can all assume Hamilton, their anniversary performance, is by far the most viewed. Its total views are 75 million. So it's like so crazy. It's not even comparable to everything else on this list. But the second most viewed performance was Gypsy with 14 million. That just goes to show how amazing that performance was. And then Sunset Boulevard is number 2 at 5 million. So pretty big jump. And then we have Just in Time, which makes sense. Jonathan Groff, he's going to get views. And then we have Maybe Happy Ending with 3 million views. Our lowest viewed musicals are Operation Mincemeat, Dead Outlaw, Buena Vista Social Club. That's sad. That's surprising. I would think Buena Vista would have higher views. Anyways, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and I wanted to chit chat about it. Well, I'm sure we're going to be talking about the Tony Awards for literally like the next few episodes. It's definitely going to keep coming up. I do want to just like briefly mention some of the after effects of the Tony Awards that we've heard about. First and foremost being that Megan Hilty is going to be taking a leave of absence from Death Becomes Her for about 3 weeks. In that time, Dee Rossioli, who I interviewed on From the Mezzanine, I loved her as Celine Dion in Titanic. She is going to be taking on the role of Madeline Ashton in the meantime, which is so fabulous. And honestly, I really want to see it with Dee Rossioli. I know she's so good in that role. But I am sad and worried for Megan Hilty because it seems to me that she was doing the most, everything that she possibly could to make it to the Tonys, and then right after the Tonys, she called it quits, which is so valid. Like, take your time, take time off. I know you've been grinding so hard, but like, at what cost? Like, she shouldn't. And she even performed at the Tonys. Like, how terrible that she was having these difficulties with her vocals, and she was just like pushing through. Like, that's definitely not good for anyone, much less somebody whose voice and their performance is what they do for a living. So I felt like that was really sad, and I'm like worried for her, and I hope that she comes back to the role when she says that she will. This has happened before with like J. Harrison G with Some Like It Hot. They stepped away from the role that was supposed to be like a couple weeks to a couple months, and then it kind of became indefinite for a while. So I hope that doesn't happen with I almost called her Madeline Ashton because that is literally who she is, but Megan Hilty, I don't think that it will. But I do hope that she gets the rest that she needs. And honestly, like, if she does need more time, I hope that she takes it because she is so talented. And I'm sure the physical and mental demand of a Tony season is hard on anybody, much less somebody who's leading a show 8 times a week. Also, we got the announcement that Smash is closing. This was literally right after the Tony Awards. They made the announcement. Very sad. And I think that it's just due to the fact that they didn't win a single Tony, and they are now going to be closing on June 22nd. At the time of their closing, they will have played 84 performances. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen. I knew, even though I like Smash, I really do, and I'd love to see it again before it closes, although it's closing so soon, so I don't know if that will happen or is possible, but I knew it wasn't going to be successful. There's just not an audience for it. There's just not. So I was shocked it even came to Broadway. I feel like it would have done so well off Broadway. It's incredibly unfortunate. Like I said, I do really, really like this show. I would 100% recommend it. It's so amazingly written. The songs are so good. The choreography is insane. But yeah, unfortunately, it did not make it. And I mean, at 84 performances, it's really, really a tragic flop, which I honestly is just like exactly what I thought was going to happen, unfortunately. I'm sad. I'm really sad to see it go so soon. I really hope some of these other shows don't follow suit. I cannot believe that Real Women Have Curves is sticking it out as long as they have. I seriously don't know how that's possible. I feel like producers are going more and more and more in debt. I don't understand how it's still open. I cannot believe Boop has not found an audience. It's literally so good, and I'm so sad that it's not doing well. It breaks my heart. I need that show to stay on Broadway. I really love it, but I think we're going to get an announcement like anytime now because they didn't win any Tony Awards, so the announcement is definitely coming, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, I don't want to end this episode on a sour note. You guys, the Tony Awards were amazing. Maybe Happy Ending swept, even though Gypsy didn't get a single award. I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's okay because, let's be honest, maybe Happy Ending needed the awards. Not that they were doing terribly, but these awards mean so much more, I feel, to maybe Happy Ending, this original show that is changing lives every night on Broadway and is so, so, so worthy of all of these wins. I could not be more elated for them and for Darren and for Helen and for the entire cast and for Catherine Quinn and for everybody, for the director, Michael Arden. I'm so deeply happy for them. And there's just something so gratifying when a show that you have literally been obsessed with whenever it gets that confirmation that it is the best musical on Broadway, oh, there's something so gratifying about that. I'm so happy for them. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of From the Mezzanine. Please find me on Instagram and TikTok at From the Mezzanine Broadway, and you can find all things From the Mezzanine at FromTheMezzanine.com. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube to subscribe. We just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so if you're not a part of the party over there, I definitely think you should. Now that I hit 1,000 subscribers, just to be honest, like I can make revenue, and I'm probably going to start doing more and more videos over on YouTube. So please go and check me out over there at From the Mezzanine Broadway. Thank you once again for watching, listening. Love my Broadway besties, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!